Okay, so I've been putting up material on the Google Drive. So this is the derivatives 2 for the Diploma in Finance, and if we just go into the classwork here, in terms of setting out some revision activity aimed at the exam, you might take a look at just the different weeks that we have here. So I've organized the material along weeks. It's not strictly, doesn't synchronize completely with the order of material that I would have done during this term, but nevertheless, have a good look at VIX. So the VIX index is important. There's a playlist that you probably should familiarize yourself with. There's a VIX playlist that we have here. So VIX YouTube playlist is the VIX being manipulated, understanding VIX, and then the simplified approach, which is following in line with Arnold and Earl. Okay, so that's important for your revision. Okay, so also this style of question is something that you would need to you should be able to see your way through the VIX material that you covered, that you could answer this type of question where you would have raw data, you would have these three formulae, and you would be able to implement this VIX estimation. So that's something that's obviously that I'm signaling as being important. If we go back to the Google Classroom for a moment, also the swap series is important. So there's a number of some material, so explanation of a swap. So these three videos here in the Google Classroom, I advise you to take a look at, and also the notes based on the whole textbook. That's important. You should also take a look at the black model, black 1976 versus black Scholes. So we might have a look here at the material and be able to deal with these type of questions based on black Scholes and based on the black model 1976. Okay, and there's some need to take a look at the American options, but also again, when we discuss the black model and black Scholes, there are some examples here of implementing an option estimation. So you're working out the value of European option using the black Scholes framework, using put-call parity. That's very important that you know put-call parity. And then also alternatively work out the same value using the black 1976 model, where we integrate in a futures price. Okay, so the black Scholes model and black 1976 are equivalent models, need to be able to implement both. That's highly relevant for the exam. Mentioned as well the binomial model. So this is the binomial models covered here. There was an example that we also had looked at in terms of the binomial, but for futures. Okay, and that's something that can be downloaded from that Excel spreadsheet. And then there was a series of explanations in these YouTube videos. Let's just take a look here for a moment. Right. Okay, so these videos are important. Okay, and Cox-Ross and Rubinstein VBA code. Okay, and you should have a look at the video clips that's laid out here, and be able to compare and contrast CRR, regular Cox-Ross-Rubinstein and Cox-Ross-Rubinstein, where we're working out the binomial based on a futures, and we're trying to work out in part valuing an American option where the underlying is a futures. Okay, so that's also important. The bond pricing is important, and yield to maturity, bootstrapping. And I think if we go in here, if we have a look at the material, there is again the solutions, the chapter 4 from Hull. Might have just a quick look at that material. All this material is important for exam preparation and revision. Okay, so everything in there, duration, term structure of interest rates, all that, those slides are important for exam preparation. In addition, should have, if we go back here to the VIX, there's a literature and understanding the VIX, manipulation of the VIX. These are important, right? How do we interpret the VIX? How does the VIX differ in terms of its estimation relative to other measures of implied volatility? How the 2003 methodology changed? So how did the CBOE alter its methodology? And if we come back out here, manipulation in the VIX also, that's important. What evidence is there to suggest that the VIX is being manipulated? Why would anybody want to manipulate the VIX? And also terms of preparation, article on Stultz, Mackenzie-Millo, very important for your understanding, for your preparation. Okay, and there's a very long discussion here in terms of Black-Scholes, performativity, implied volatility, skewness, 1987 crash, and then Stultz, risk neutral pricing, the nature of derivatives. Is there systemic risk? Should we fear derivatives? Okay, very important as well. Okay, and I think that probably goes to some way to providing us with an overview of material credit default swaps, material for the upcoming exam.